Let's do it. Let's get into some more Sturniolo triplets. I also saw that Chris posted my last video on his Instagram story. Shout out to Chris, and shout out to all of you who were DMing me and letting me know about Chris doing that. Very cool. Triplet brothers exposing each other's red flags. Let's do it, baby.
Oh, that was so cute for the edits. Okay, can we start?
And then what you say, how you miss me? Yeah, you miss me. And all the things that we did, we said we could.
That's Nick.
And what you say, how you miss me? Yeah, you miss me.
And we're live! Today we're gonna be filming a red flags about each other, and then to finalize it, we're gonna tell each other. My God. He just did that with his teeth.
I saw.
I like felt it.
And then to end.
Yo, where's my older Sturniolo fan base at? You know, I know it's a young fan base, but these guys, man, I think part of the reason I love watching these guys is they take me back to when I was 19, 20 years old. So anyone else feel that kind of nostalgia? Do they bring out that kind of child in you? You let me know. But I'd be so curious about them. I'd be so curious to get to know them and ask them questions. And cool guys for sure. Has anyone met them, by the way? Anyone go on their tour and meet them? Let me know.
We're gonna finalize the green flag about each other to feel better about ourselves.
Awesome. I have all my red flags written down. I have not one green flag written down.
Well, that's the point. Oh, notebook, 5-star. Okay, who wants to start?
I'm gonna read this red flag about Nick.
See, Nick sees everything, right? Nick sees everything from the back seat, but you know, he made sure to continue on with his introduction of the video. Chris was saying something, and Nick's like, "No, I saw," but he continued on with the intro of the video.
That with his teeth.
I saw.
I like felt it.
And then to end it, we're gonna find.
He sort of established himself as the guy who makes sure shit gets done and makes sure that there's at least just like a hint of organization to these videos. Because the rest of the video is completely chaos with these car videos. But Nick holds it together with just like a semblance of organizational skills. Just a little. I don't even know if the camera would be turned on if it wasn't for Nick.
One of Matt's is he sleeps with a stuffed animal. That's not the red flag, though. The red flag is that the stuffed animal has severe privileges over the spot on his bed and the rules of the bed. So if you sit in the bed, but the stuffed animal falls, Mr. Puggington has to tell you, Mr. Wrinkles has to tell you whether or not you're allowed to sit there. So the red flag's not the stuffed animal itself. It's the fact that the stuffed animal is literally a tyrant of the bed.
That's funny. I love when Nick goes on his rants like that. That's fucking funny. He's just smart like that. That's why I always say Nick's such a good communicator, because he's very expressive, right? This is something we can actually learn from Nick. He emphasizes his words.
It's literally a tyrant of the bed.
It just makes his stories more vivid. It makes them pop. It makes them more engaging. And he's specific with the details of his story. Now it feels weird knowing that they might watch some of my videos, but you know, I just love watching the connection between Matt and Chris here. I've always commented on that. But Matt and Chris, man, you know, they love each other. And listen, I mean, like, if they're watching this, there's no need to get cringed out. I'm sure it is a little cringy. But listen, you guys love each other. You guys got a good brotherly bond going on. That's awesome. I'm seeing a little bit of a softer side with Chris so far in this video. I may eat my words like I have many times in the past, but that's what I'm sensing.
You have admitted to things like, oh, there's nothing we can do about it, and there's no solution, blah, 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 and then you bitch for an hour and a half just for us to, like
I have a lot of strong feelings and requests and...
Okay.
I wanted to say
what
desires,
are you, a wizard?
But that's crazy.
Yeah,
but I just have...
What are you, a wizard? That's fucking good.
What are you, a wizard?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Chris will just fucking say it straight up. You got to appreciate that. You got to appreciate that Chris is really going to keep it real with you, and that's just who he is. He's not trying to be an ass. He's not trying to be malicious. He loves these guys. That's why he can say these things, and he feels comfortable enough being real around these guys to say it. So, you know, you got to appreciate his realness, right? I've come to appreciate that.
Like, Matt will work out to the absolute extreme level.
He walked up
like he finished, he's like all confused.
I think he's just so like
He doesn't like work out and then like build up. He goes straight for like power workout to the extreme.
It's so
I just want it more than you. That's insane.
I have another one for that.
Insane.
That's adorable, man. That's adorable. That connection between Matt and Chris there, you know? Between Matt and Chris. I still mess up their names sometimes. I still fucking get the guys confused. Anyone else? But yeah, that's adorable. Matt and Chris's little connection there. They're both in kind of like just like a silly, funny mood. And again, Matt loves it. I feel like Matt really loves when Chris gets super silly and he gets to kind of bond with him in that way, where they're laughing and just kind of having fun. And I'm seeing a little bit of a different side to Chris here, maybe a little bit of a lighter side.
Like, we'll be like, oh, tonight, Matt, we have a premiere, so we're all gonna get dressed and like head out at like 5. And he'll be like, that works. That's good.
That's good.
I hate when he does that.
Or
Like,
either
yeah,
that,
we know it's good.
Either
man.
that,
I'm telling you.
either that, or you say that, and then 5 minutes later he goes, "Guys, we're leaving at 5 for the premiere, so we should probably get dressed and get ready soon." Like he says the opposite.
When Nick and Chris are kind of teaming up on Matt in a way, Matt doesn't really engage in the same way. Like, Matt doesn't care to defend himself as much. Matt's chill, man. Nick and Chris are a little bit quicker to get defensive. Nick's funny. I've mentioned before, he's kind of like the mom of the group. And there's like a sassiness to him here in this car ride.
Nick, why is that Wi-Fi out? And I'm like, I don't know, because I also don't have Wi-Fi. Then I use my critical thinking skills, and I go to the living room where the Wi-Fi router is. And Chris unplugged it, so I plug it back in, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's the solution to your Wi-Fi problem. Or we could be like eating, and Matt's like, what's in this? It's like the restaurant.
For sure.
I'm like, I don't work here. I don't know the ingredients.
Nick's so much in entertainment mode right now. I love it. And you saw him looking directly at the camera. Do you guys notice that? He was looking directly at the camera. So again, he's the guy out of these three who makes the effort to connect with the audience. Not that Matt and Chris don't have their own relationship with the audience. I'm sure they do. But within these videos, Nick's got sort of the awareness to do that. He's got the awareness to say, okay, you know, we're still on camera here. You know, these guys are just super entertaining. Like, Nick's on right now. That's the other thing. Like, they appreciate each other when each other are on. When Nick's in his zone, the boys respect it. All right, we're watching some greatness take place right now. Let's just enjoy. I don't need to say anything. And you see the two guys, like, these are his biggest fans over here.
Where the Wi-Fi router is, and Chris unplugged it, so I plug it back in, and I'm like,
You know, they give each other their props in that way. When one of the other guys is on, they kind of like let them be on. They give each other time to shine. A lot of people will say, and I've seen this question a lot, what do the Sturniolo triplets do? Like, what do they do? They're entertainers. They make a lot of people happy. They make a lot of people feel good. And that's not something that should just kind of be swept under the rug. That's a big deal. We want to feel good. We want to feel happy. We want to feel joy. So we're searching for things that bring us joy. And I think that's the Sturniolo triplets for a lot of people. They're entertainers. They bring people joy. So that's what they do. That is what they do. And I think it's important for people to know that. So if anyone's asking you, you can tell them that.
A red flag for Nick. Bro, I feel like I should be like in pajamas tucked in. like
it's like a Christmas
the
story.
Notebook kills me. Like, I literally feel like
it was easier
once upon a time.
It was easier to write it down tonight.
I literally feel like I should be in a onesie with like a Christmas hat on.
Okay,
you saw
candle lit room. Okay, go, Matt.
I mean, this might be a ridiculous statement to make, but I feel like in this video, you look at Chris and you're like, Chris loves his brother so much. The irony in that is he can be the harshest at times, but you know, what we're seeing in this video at least, or what I'm seeing, is like just an immense amount of love toward his brothers. Like, just the amount of joy he gets from Nick's humor, just the amount of joy he gets from Matt appreciating him. You can see, like, I think Chris is in his element when Nick goes on a rant and him and Matt just get to laugh it up together. And part of him being able to be so direct in a way, I think that's an example of him showing his love. He's not going to do that with people he doesn't care about, or he doesn't trust, or he doesn't like, or he doesn't feel comfortable with. Him expressing himself like he does is the ultimate sign of comfort and love.
He has to allocate like a half hour of time to eating like spicy.
What does
like,
allocate
chips.
mean? How do you spell it?
You like make a particular like, oh, this time is.
How do you spell particular?
Like, what's the test for?
You don't know how to...
I will agree that the water is excessive, but I put the
I would go
chips
red
in a
flag.
bowl or a plate because when you
All right, cool. We don't care. Next.
See, it's harder for Matt to get his story out, right? It's a little harder for him to get his story out. So I think here's the deal. Matt was a little rude to Chris. They're not actually rude, but he called him out for the spelling.
What does allocate mean? How do you spell it? How do you spell particulate?
Now Matt is having more difficulty getting his story out because these guys have, in this moment, kind of turned on him a bit.
Cool, we don't care. Next.
This is part of why I don't think Matt comes at them that hard, because he's not as good at defending himself and getting his words out in this direct way and projecting his voice over the other guys. That's not his thing. He just doesn't cut as harshly through as Nick and Chris. He just doesn't have that in him. That's not in his nature to be as harsh and direct. That's why I think he plays the best mediator role at the end of the day with these guys. Right? He's able to deliver news to them, or he's able to correct them or criticize them in a way that is way more receptive, because he does it with a certain amount of kindness. So I think he's a really good communicator in that way, Matt is.
Whenever me and Nick need Matt's opinion for a new idea or a new project, he'll wait till both of us express ours and then go, oh yeah, I agree. It makes me want to just drag him on once you're all the way down.
That just means I think you have great opinions on things.
No, because it's just annoying, because it's we're all in it.
Yeah, they're more opinionated than Matt, that's for sure. Nick and Chris definitely, and we've talked about this before, but they definitely are more opinionated and definitely more vocal about their opinions, So maybe that will develop over time with Matt. Maybe it's just a little bit harder for Matt to express his opinions. Maybe he's just kind of relies on the other guys to make the decisions a little bit more. And I think just based on his personality, he's kind of adaptive, right? So he's okay, kind of just going with the flow. He's a very easy guy to be around in that way. Very easy to hang out with. Matt's talked about his anxiety before too, right? Maybe that prevents him from thinking about what he likes and what he wants. But I think a lot of the time when we're kind of bogged down by depressive episodes or anxiety and we're kind of just in our head, it's hard to think about what we want. Yeah, I think Matt, just based on who he is and his personality and some of the stuff that it sounds like he struggles with, doesn't go within in that way. Whereas, Chris and Nick, I feel like they know exactly what they want and they're not afraid to express that and live that out.
The second he opens his phone, he's sucked into another dimension. All right, last one about Matt for the rest of the night, because I have my last one.
The what?
The Pekkas in Clash of Clans.
Crazy. They're dude, deploy me, please. Let's go.
Okay, that was crazy. Go, Chris. When Matt has
It's so natural with these guys that it's not okay, you're up next. There's no polish to this video. It's not nicely produced. It's just okay, your turn, Chris. Your turn, Matt.
That was crazy. Go, Chris. When Matt has
It's very much them, but there's still an organizational element that's imposed by Nick that keeps things flowing, right? But I think Nick's head is everywhere in this video. He's moving around, he's laughing, he's looking both ways, then he'll look at the camera, and then he'll be okay, let's get back into it. He's kind of twitchy, His brain's firing, but he's on.
I actually named Chris's brand, but he's not going to say that.
No, he was the first person to say it out loud, because what happened was... that makes the story tricky. Listen. That makes the story tricky. He's love, and I was oh, fresh love. And then he's oh, yeah, it's works out well. And I was okay, word. It was more of a teen thing. He was hey.
These guys have been pretty nice to each other, all things considered, in this video. Chris was telling the story about how Matt helped them come up with the name for his brand. Love Fresh, I think it's called, or Fresh Love. Nick was trying to understand the story, and Chris did a good job explaining it. And Nick was oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It was more of a teen thing. He was hey.
They're on each other's team quite a bit in this video. They're on each other's team. They're on each other's side. But you see that a lot. I think Nick and Chris definitely have a different relationship than Nick and Matt do. I think Nick and Chris are more alike in a lot of ways. I think their humor is very similar. I think the way they tell jokes is quite similar in the sense that they're both opinionated and they're both not afraid to be combative. I think there's a lot of similarities there between those two. So I think there's a sort of on the same level in a lot of ways, and there's a respect factor there.
Chris knows what he wants in a sense of he will not let himself into a situation where he will disappoint himself or other people.
Like, if he feels like he's gonna upset you by getting into the situation, he will not, because he already knows what the outcome's gonna be.
Wow, that was beautiful. I feel very honored right now.
All right.
These boys are quick to compliment each other too. It's a wholesome video, I think. You know, you just see the love between them in this video, and you really see Nick's kind of talents shine in this video as well. And, you know, I think it's important that there's a Matt in this triplet group too. Like, if Matt was more kind of direct and harsh, like a Chris or a Nick, it just wouldn't feel the same. Like, I feel like you need that softer voice, that calmer voice, and that presence in this dynamic. So I think he plays an important role for both Chris and Nick in that way. I think he softens them up a little.
You're always there when I need you.
That's what I
Like, that's it.
That's all
I need to show someone a new song, I'm going to Matt. Need to show someone a new cool shirt I want, going to Matt. Need to watch a TV show with somebody, I'm going to Matt. You're just like
Especially that one.
You're just like the go-to guy.
I love TV shows.
You know?
Thanks.
You make yourself very accessible to help me out.
Well, that was.
See, Matt loves that. And Matt embraces that support role. And I've said that from the beginning. No, I haven't. That was a complete lie. I didn't say that from the beginning. But I did say that like 3 reactions in. Well, I did say that from the beginning, how much Matt loves Chris. I did actually say that from the beginning. I did. No, I did. No, I said that. Matt loves Chris. Matt's got Chris's back till the very end. You know, he's his biggest hype man. He's his biggest support. And very cool at the end here to hear Chris appreciate that and acknowledge that. I think that's awesome. I knew that he appreciated it, but it's cool to hear that. But Matt embraced it as well. It wasn't like Matt was shy about it or weird about it or deflected it. He embraced it.
That's what I need.
Like, that's it.
That's all
I need.
So I think we saw a lot in that little exchange there between the special relationship of Chris and Matt. Chris has this like mega super fan supporter in Matt always. And that's probably got to be the best feeling in the world. But for Matt, he gets to have Chris, who he feels is like, this guy's the man. He's cool. He takes the lead. He makes me laugh. They play different roles, but I'm sure it's a lot more nuanced than that. I'm sure it's a lot deeper than that. But this is at least what I see. It's really a beautiful relationship. Great kids, great guys, great dynamic. I'll probably continue reacting to them as long as people are interested and enjoy the reactions. I have fun putting it out, and I do these reactions. I like to have fun, but I also hope I'm helping people learn some stuff along the way. So, by the way, my uncut reactions are only $4 Canadian. So you can join my Patreon page for only $4 Canadian. I think that's like $3 American a month. And you can watch all of my uncut Sturniolo reactions, including this one. So you can enjoy all that content there. If you're interested, I've included the link in my description below. Other than that, my name is Max. I appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.